Friend, I like to start my notes to you as if we're already in the middle of a conversation. I pretend that we're the oldest and dearest friends as opposed to what we actually are. People who don't know each other's names.
Morning, Mr. Fox.
And met in a chat room where we both claimed we'd never been before. What will NY152 say today, I wonder? I turn on my computer. I wait impatiently as it connects. I go online and my breath catches in my chest until I hear 3 little words. You've got mail. I hear nothing, not even a sound on the streets of New York, just the beat of my own heart. I have mail from you.
Welcome to the show.
Welcome back to the show, everyone.
No, we're not talking about You Got Mail. This is not a You Got Mail episode. I kind of wish that it was.
But we love You Got Mail.
We love You Got Mail, but no, this is our first Mailbag episode.
It absolutely is. Listeners, my name's Pete.
And I'm Scott, and these are the movies that made us gay. You Got Mail edition.
You've Got Mail edition. Wow. So we're doing our first ever viewer mail episode, Scott.
Yeah, we've been collecting questions from you, the listeners.
Yes.
This is an episode dedicated to you because we would not be doing this podcast if it weren't for the kind people that listen to our show.
Absolutely, absolutely. We wouldn't keep doing this week after week if all of you lovely people weren't listening, and you are listening. It's so cool. I mean, we're just doing this for fun. We're just doing this to have a creative outlet, to do something together. And I think we've kind of created something that people come to listen to every week. And listeners, we love that you are participating. Thank you so much for submitting all of your questions.
So we collected questions from Twitter, email, Instagram stories, messages, and this is sort of, I have a list of questions that we're going to talk about. So we're going to be doing a Q&A. And then we have a very special guest later in the episode that we're going to be playing some rounds of Fuck, Marry, Kill with.
Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. So stick around for that. That's going to be a lot of fun. So I guess we should just jump right into it, Scott.
Let's jump right into it.
Right.
From a Twitter user, she gave us questions of how did you meet?
Okay. What is the Twitter user's name? Do you have their handle?
I don't have their handle.
Oh,
but it's from somebody on Twitter. It was it was a long handle with a lot of letters.
Okay,
so
we can find it and post that. But so say again, how did we meet?
Question from Twitter: how did we meet?
How did we meet? All right,
this is actually a 3-part question.
Oh, okay. So should we?
This is the first one. How
right.
did we meet?
We'll start with how did we meet? I have a friend. I do. I have more than one friend. And
we've had many friends on the show.
And it wasn't Scott. And one of my friends, a couple of my friends worked for a company, a trailer vendor company that had these wild and raucous Christmas parties. And every year I would hear about the Christmas parties from this company that a handful of my friends worked for. And they always sounded so fun and so cool. And one year I was like, I'm going to go to this Christmas party. One of y'all is not going to have a date and I'm going to be your plus one. And my friend Glenn
Warren
gladly accepted, and I was his plus one, so I got to go to this wild and raucous Christmas party, and that's where I met Scott for the first time.
That's where he met me. I was working at this said company, which was Aspect Ratio, and yeah, they cut.
We can bleep that out.
They cut film trailers. I mean, at the time, I think that they still kind of are. They're kind of one of the main vendors in Hollywood where you went and had film spots, TV spots, full film trailers. I think they do a lot of gaming stuff. So I got a job right out of college at Aspect Ratio, and that's where I met our friend Damien Bueno. And Damien Bueno had just been going out with this woman named Jeanette. And I remember his now wife that they have 2 beautiful kids with. And I had just met Jeanette because we had gone out right after they finished the Tron Legacy account. And that's where I met Jeanette. And we ended up night of drinking. So I was friendly with her. And I believe that Jeanette introduced both of us at this party.
Yes. I got to the party with Glenn and I went to go and say my highs to everybody that I knew.
I got there late because I had to close down Aspect Ratio.
And so I was hanging out with Damien and Jeanette and, you know, Glenn and all the people there. And then I don't remember specifically the timing or how the night went down, because there was a lot of alcohol and other things. But at some point in the night, I remember Jeanette coming over and grabbing me and pulling me towards the bar. And she was like, somebody you have to meet. And she introduced the two of us. After she hung out with you that one night at the Burgundy Room,
I remember
she had it in her head like she was going to set us up if it was the last thing she did.
I walked into the party late, and I think that I would have met you very quickly after
you were at
walking
the bar.
In. At the bar.
You were like ordering a drink. Jeanette was like, he's here. Come on.
Yep.
Yeah. Yeah. And we hung out the whole rest of the night, and ever since.
Made out in the cab ride home. I remember Glenn was awkwardly sitting in the front seat.
Not talking to the cab driver as we were making out the back. Yeah, I mean, that happened first night. But I did. Glenn drove me to the party, so I ended up going back to my apartment to grab Glenn's car, all of that stuff. So, you know, it was a respectable evening. We may have been making out in the backseat of a taxi cab, but it ended there. We said our goodbyes. You went home, and I went home.
Do you remember the name of the bar that we met?
It was on Melrose, and I know where it is.
I think it's still there.
I don't remember what it's called.
It is called The Parlor.
The Parlor. There you go. Yes.
I believe that was the 19th of December. I actually spaced our anniversary this year. I'm usually really good at dates and remembering stuff like that. And I was so busy with work that I forgot it.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah. It's okay. It's okay. Our meeting anniversary.
Our meet cute. I mean, most gays now it seems like just meet on Grindr.
Yeah, it wasn't an app. It wasn't.
We were introduced by friends, so I think that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
The second part of this question.
Not that it's not cool if you did meet on Grindr or anything.
I mean, it's so common now.
Work. Yeah. Yeah.
Makes for a good story. The second part of this question, how did the podcast get started? I mean, I feel like ever since I first started listening to podcasts around the time I moved to LA around 2010, I remember I would listen to the IFC News podcast with Allison Wilmore and I am spacing on the other guy that used to host that.
The other one.
The other guy. But I remember just thinking when I would listen to those when I would walk around Hollywood, this sounds like it would be so much fun to do.
Yeah.
So I think that's when I first started to think I should do a podcast. And also just kind of when doing podcasts, I was under the impression of you had to be associated with like IFC, a company, doing it in a studio. Little did I know that all you need to do a podcast is just an audio recorder.
Yeah. You don't need anything.
You don't really need anything.
You just need, you need a couple bucks to host your site. Mm-hmm. You could do it on your iPhone if you wanted to. We don't, obviously, because the sound quality of our podcast is exemplary, if I do say so myself.
And I think that just the idea mulled around in my head for a good couple years. Right. And then in 2019, we just decided to commit to do it.
Right. I had been working on a podcast with some friends of mine, my straight guy friends. We just decided to do it we were getting to an age where we were all kind of pairing off, getting married. One of our friends had a kid. Aforementioned Damien and Jeanette had their first child at this point. And it was that thing where we were getting to a certain age and there was less and less opportunity to see our friends. And so we kind of created a reason for us to get together once a week and hang out. And we kind of created this podcast idea that I had done starting around 2017, which was Very Special Television that I did with my really good friends. If you want to look that up, it's still on Apple Podcasts.
Yeah, it's all there.
It's still there if you want to listen to Very Special Television. And we talked about the very special episodes of sitcoms. And there was 70-something episodes, 72, 73 episodes, and I think they're really funny. They're about, a little over an hour each one, and it kind of, most of those friends were musicians, so they all had recording experience and equipment.
Our friend Jose helped us out a lot with getting this podcast running, too.
I was able to just take a look and see what these guys were doing just based on their music background and recording at home and what they used. And so I just went and kind of copied everything Jose was doing and set up a little podcast recording studio in our old apartment in our living room on the couch. And we had an idea, came up with the name, and we took off.
Yeah.
And all the listeners that we have, all the social media that we have, this is 100. We say this all the time. This is 100% independent podcast. We don't have any backing from, like Scott was saying, thinking that you need to have like a studio behind you. This is not Carrie Bradshaw walking into like a high rise in downtown.
Yeah.
And sitting in a booth. We're literally sitting on the couch, doing this. And all of our social media followers, all of our listeners, it's just completely been word of mouth and friends and spreading the word and posting on social media and people catching on, hashtags and all that stuff. And that's kind of how it started and how we got to where we are today.
I always had major FOMO with your podcast, VSTV. I always wanted to be there for every recording. I always would chime in my advice for all of that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
So I just had to create one of my own.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And that was the thing. My friends and I was like, this is funny. People would listen to us talk. And that's kind of how that original idea came about. We were driving to Vegas, just the guys. And we were like, that 4-hour drive to Vegas felt like it was 20 minutes because we were just making each other laugh so much. So we were like, why not?
Who of the guys have we had on episodes? We had Chris and Jose.
Yeah. Chris did Masters of the Universe.
Masters of the Universe, and Jose did Single White Female.
Both straight guys, but we needed a good straight perspective on these.
We need to get him back on in 2023.
And we need to get Damien on.
They're really good guests. Yeah. We need Damien. Yeah. All right, and the third follow-up question is, if you could temporarily have your memory erase Eternal Sunshine style to watch a movie with a fresh set of eyes, what would you choose?
Man, that is a tough
I was thinking today about this question that I was thinking about movies that we grew up with as kids.
Yeah.
And I was thinking of like, what would me now in my mid-30s think about a movie like Labyrinth if I did not grow up on it?
Right.
Because I remember when we watched Labyrinth for our episode with our friend Jared and his husband Michael. I think that they're married. I'm not sure. Might be boyfriend. I think that they're married. I remember Michael did not grow up on that movie, and it was his first time watching it. And I could kind of tell Michael was not super into it.
Right. Right. And I've shown it to people who haven't seen it before, and they're just like,
kind of one of those movies that you had to be there.
This music's corny,
I still think if I were to watch that movie now, I think I would be still into it.
Utterly charmed. Yeah, I tend to agree. I think I would be very much into that movie. But yeah.
What about you?
This kind of goes along. There's another question later on that kind of touches on something similar. Movies aging and things like that. But yeah, that would be a really good one. There's sometimes when people haven't seen a movie before, like I've never seen it, and I'm like, oh, you're so lucky you get to watch this for the first time because I just know these movies so well. I don't know. I feel like I would love to watch with fresh eyes. Something, I don't know, something kind of...
I'd be curious how a movie like Hook would go down if you didn't grow up on it, too. Because that movie is kind of wild and very of the time for a Spielberg movie. So I'd be curious of how that would go down the fresh set of eyes. I'm thinking
something like a Star Wars.
Sure.
Like if I had never, if I was like living under a rock and I had never seen a Star Wars.
I mean, I don't think my mom and my sister have ever actually watched any of the Star Wars. No, that's not true anymore because my sister's...
kids.
My sister's kids are really into Star Wars now, so I'm sure that she just watches bits and pieces of them as they're just on at their house, so that's probably not the case now.
Yeah. I think, something like a Star Wars, maybe, New Hope or the original trilogy. Would I be like, this is weird. This is straight up for kids.
I think I tell people when they say they haven't watched any Star Wars movies, watch the original trilogy and don't watch anything else. Because if you try to sit down and watch the prequel movies or the sequel movies made a few years ago, you'll just probably get annoyed at all of them.
Yeah, totally. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. And I mean, we're not going to go into some classics that I have yet to see. The Godfather.
We need to have you watch The Godfather soon.
Yeah. But I think I'm going to say the original Star Wars trilogy because those are so close to my gay nerd heart.
Well, we have sort of a follow-up email that is talking about what I think that you are referring to. This is an email from Dustin. Hello again, guys. I immediately wrote you this email when I heard the news of the Mailbag episode on the Anastasia episode. My question is for both of you. What are your top and bottom 5 best picture films of all time? Movies that have aged like fine wine and aged like milk. I have listened to every episode many times. You guys have been on my number 1 spot for the last 2 years in a row. And if you don't believe me, I've attached the receipts. And then he attached a little picture of the Spotify most listened to. Excited for the Q&A episode, the December ones, and the ones in 2023. Happy holidays, and thanks for giving me joy this year. Love you guys. From Dustin.
Thank you so much, Dustin.
Thank you so much. I love this question because I love the Oscars.
This is a Scott question.
This is a very me question. I have my answers for this. I don't know if you just want to hear them from me or if you have them.
I have a couple, but I want you to.
All right, my top 5 best picture winners, high fidelity style. Top 5.
Yeah.
Titanic, It Happened One Night, All About Eve, Terms of Endearment, and Silence of the Lambs. Those are my top 5 favorite best picture winners. Movies that I can revisit now and still kind of I find something new in all of these movies. Movies that I think have aged very well.
Yeah.
That a movie like It Happened One Night from 1934, if you watch that movie with an audience now, you'll still get laughs, which I think is so cool.
Yes.
Is that if you can show that movie to a modern audience and it's still a good time. So It Happened One Night, Titanic, All About Eve, Terms of Endearment, and Silence of the Lambs. I mean, when we did our Terms of Endearment episode, that was a movie that when we revisited it, I hadn't seen it in a while. And I have to say, one of the best movies to come out of the 1980s.
Yeah. So good.
So good. And like Silence of the Lambs, like It Happened One Night, that it won the big 5 of the best picture, best director, leads, and screenplay.
Wow.
That I don't,
the only 2
and I don't think it had been done since
It Happened One Night.
It Happened One Night.
Yeah. Wow.
Movies have come close to it, but not quite gotten all of them.
Sure. Now, do you have least favorite picture winners? All right.
I'll be a little more specific with my least favorite. I'll say the movie that should have won, in my opinion. And also for some of these movies that I don't necessarily hate, I just don't really think that they have aged that well. And looking at Best Picture, I mean, you got to say Crash. I mean, I feel like Crash's reputation is just sort of. They're the movie that people don't want to sit with at the lunch table now. And that was in 2005, a pretty strong Best Picture year, a lot of really strong dramas. But I feel like Brokeback Mountain and Capote probably should have won.
Sure. I think definitely Brokeback Mountain has a kind of pop cultural place. Whereas if you ask, I would say... maybe not movies that made us gay listeners, but just average movie watchers on the street. What movie do they remember more, Crash or Brokeback Mountain?
I mean, I would hope that it's Brokeback.
That's what I'm saying. I feel like Crash people, if you're not a super Oscar person, Crash is just kind of.
I mean, I feel like Crash just has the reputation of just being an undeserved winner. Yeah. I'd be curious to see how that movie revisits because I have not watched Crash probably since 2006.
And I like everybody in it.
Yeah, it's an incredible cast.
Everybody in it. The cast is amazing, and I just sitting there going, "This movie is trash."
I think it was a movie that if I were to step back, because I saw Crash early in the theater the summer that it came out. Like I saw it immediately when it was released.
Yeah.
And I think I initially really liked the movie, but I definitely remember that feeling once it started getting nominated for awards, thinking, I don't think all of this is really warranted for this movie.
Right.
That I don't think it's really that good.
Yeah.
I mean, another movie that kind of goes in that conversation, a movie that I have not seen, but I am including it on the list, is Green Book.
Right.
Because everything that I have read about Green Book, it does not sound like a movie that I would really enjoy.
Yeah.
I don't think Green Book has ever been on something like Netflix or Prime, so I just haven't had an opportunity to watch this movie off of a streaming platform.
And we just don't have the wherewithal to
pay
$5
don't want to pay $5 to
Yeah.
rent it. This was the year that Roma probably should have won.
Right.
This was a very transitional year.
Yeah.
Netflix was just getting into the game of releasing theatrical movies that were eligible for Oscars. And I just remember for that award season, there was a big pushback for Roma.
Yeah.
At the very last minute, where I'm sure voters probably deliberately put it in their 10th spot on their ballot just because it was a Netflix movie.
Yeah.
Yeah. But Roma's a beautiful movie. We're going to be talking about Cuarón later in the show. But I mean,
And
that
I
director
think
is solid.
When it comes down to it, when it comes down to brass tacks, for me, Best Picture is like the achievement of filmmaking.
Yeah, and that movie's pretty incredible.
Which is the one that year. And I think things like Dances with Wolves and these big kind of like blockbustery movies that maybe they're not the most compelling, most original story you've ever seen in your life. But it's like, I don't know, fucking The Return of the King deserves a goddamn Best Picture Academy Award. Because no other movie that year achieved what that movie did as far as filmmaking and cinema. I mean, and I think that, you know, Roma really does that. It's that thing where it's like, granted, it's a Netflix movie and we all saw it sitting on our couches. Some people saw it in the movie theater, but a very small.
I wish I saw this in the theater.
I wish I saw it in the theater because
we should have tracked it down.
Cinema. You know, it's like, this is a movie. This is a filmmaker. And it's just like, yeah.
He won Best Director, but it didn't get Best Picture.
Yeah.
A Beautiful Mind, a movie that I think is fine, but if you were to size that up with all of the movies that it was nominated for, I think that any of those movies should have won over A Beautiful Mind. So 2001 Best Picture, A Beautiful Mind won, Moulin Rouge, In the Bedroom, Fellowship of the Ring, and Gosford Park. I would argue that any four of those are worthy winners. Movies that I love. 2001, very underrated movie year.
Yeah.
Too. Like, there were some bangers that year.
And A Beautiful Mind is something that people still remember, and it has a lot of, like, I don't know, I think it kind of has the almost Forrest Gump kind of...
prestige filmmaking.
Yeah.
It's a biopic. Also, a lot of industry love for Ron Howard that I think his loss for Apollo 13 had a lot to do with that win.
Right.
And especially, like... I think that Russell had just won for Gladiator, so he probably wasn't going to win a follow-up Oscar Tom Hanks style. But it probably got Jennifer Connelly the Oscar, that she just was swept up in the good graces of Ron Howard that year.
Right. Okay. So that's 3.
The Artist. In my least favorite Best Picture year in 2011. I mean, I'm not really passionate about any of the movies nominated for Best Picture. I feel like Tree of Life I like, but I think also in retrospect that would be a weird Best Picture win if they were to give it to it. Love Terrence Malick. We used to have we still have it. We haven't hung it, but we have a framed Tree of Life poster that we had up in our old apartment. But The Artist, a movie that I think is fine, but just got kind of pushed across the finish line by Harvey Weinstein.
Right.
And I'm going to go for my last one, Gandhi, because it beat out E.T.
Yeah.
I think that, I mean, I feel like more people now talk about E.T. than they do Gandhi.
Sure. And I mean, Gandhi's one of those movies. It couldn't, I mean, yes, Ben Kingsley. No, Ben Kingsley. I don't know. I think the casting of Ben Kingsley as Gandhi, it's a little kind of tiptoeing across...
Sure. Should it go to an Indian actor? Yeah. And I know that Ben Kingsley is from
He's part ways.
England. Yeah. He might be part Indian, like somewhere in his ancestry, but yeah.
He's actually half Indian. His father's Indian and his mother's British.
Okay. Sure.
But I mean, it could be argued that there was a little bit of brown face going on, even though he actually is of half Indian descent. I think it's a little iffy when it comes to his casting and those things. But I mean, E.T. It's E.T.
Yeah, I think it's the best Steven Spielberg movie ever.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely, it's the best Steven Spielberg movie. Yeah, go ahead.
All right. So the next question, we put this on our Instagram stories, and some of our followers submitted question from Ocean_Blue on Instagram. Rank all of the Scream movies.
Mm-hmm. All right. Are you going to start with your least favorite?
My least favorite has to be Scream 4. I know that Scream 4 has a big following behind it. I know that friends of mine really like Scream 4. I am not one of those people.
I agree. Same
I
spot
think
for
that
me.
when you revisit that movie, I mean, God bless Wes Craven. I hate to speak ill of the dead, but there is just something of how that movie is photographed that I think it just looks like an episode of 90210. And it does not do it for me.
Yeah, I just remember I watched it. I was like, this is fine. It's I've seen it once. Every Scream movie I've seen multiple times. Mm-hmm. Scream 4 I've seen once. And I've never been like, let's watch Scream 4. Every now and then we're like, let's just put on Scream 3.
Yeah.
We're not those people who are like, I'm going to watch all the Screams in a row because it's Halloween. No, sometimes we're just like, I just really want to watch Scream 2 right now.
I just want to laugh at Parker Posey. I have to say, probably the next, if you're going to be going from worst to best, Scream 3 is kind of a mess.
Yeah.
And it's one of those movies, too, that I want to think it's underrated, or it's like we need to be writing for Scream 3 more. I love Parker Posey in it.
Yeah.
But that movie is a mess. That you can really tell that they were writing that movie on the fly.
Sure.
Like the day of filmmaking, they were giving Courtney and Nev their sides.
Yeah, totally.
That were like fresh from like the printer.
They're like, which one is today's script, the yellow one or the chartreuse? Mm-hmm. They're like, throw away your mauve script. It's outdated. I agree. I think my fourth place slot is Scream 3, or fifth place slot is Scream 3.
And then I think that the next one, I think it's Scream 2022, not Scream 5.
Okay, all right.
That I think it's pretty passable. I think it's a solid 3-star movie.
Okay, I think my third place spot is Scream 2.
Okay,
I have problems with the script. I just think it's hokey.
All right,
it's not good. That was my Susan Powder impression.
So we're like changing the places for Scream 5 and Scream 2.
So now this is your second place.
My second place is Scream 2.
Scream 2.
I have a soft spot for Scream 2. I saw it in the theater.
You do have a soft spot
when I was a kid. Yeah. I still think that there's a lot of elements of that movie that are a lot of fun. I like the opening. I like the opening does not revolve around a phone call. Something that I hope that the new Scream, which is Scream Roman numeral 6, which what's the fuck?
V1, who cares?
Fuck up with these like names now. And now it's just getting confusing.
Yeah.
I like the opening of that movie, and I hope that they return to a similar opening like that in the new movie, where it doesn't revolve around a phone call.
Sure. My second place spot is for Scream 2022.
Okay, so the new one.
Yeah, I think it's a good entry as far as, the whole requel, air quotes.
All the
goes.
requel stuff was really fun.
Yeah, I think they did it as well as that could be done. They tackled it, and they did it in a very Scream way.
Well, and it's very clever.
Talking about this movie to you.
And it's very clever for the haters of that movie.
Yeah.
That it's kind of like
it's acknowledging everything.
It's acknowledging everything. And that I think that if you hate the movie, it almost acknowledges why you hate it, which I think is very clever writing.
Right. And it's got my girl Jenna Ortega.
Oh, yeah.
And
Jen. Love Jen.
Wednesday Addams. She's all the rage this holiday season, but we've been on board with Jenna since Scream 2022.
I don't know if she's really walking away from that opening of that movie, though.
I mean,
I put it on the other day, and I'm like, damn, Jen Ortega probably weighs 90 pounds, and you were stabbing her multiple times in this opening.
Multiple times.
How are you not tearing that poor girl apart?
Breaking bones, stabbed through the hand. That hand is useless the rest of her life. She's never playing the piano again. But she didn't before. But yeah, I love Jenna Ortega. I love that they just cast. I mean, fuck it. They cast diverse. They made the two main girls
Fierce Latinas. Yep.
And it wasn't even a plot point.
No.
It was just Billy knocked up the one Latina girl at, what's the name of their high school?
Woodsboro High.
And we got these two. And yeah, they were both really great in it, charming. And it's got Jack Quaid, who we love. Yeah.
And of course, number one spot.
Number one's
clearly
Scream 1,
it is going to be Scream.
Yeah, obviously, it's going to go to Scream 1. So we don't even have to elaborate on why. Jono Provinciano
from Instagram asks us, when are we going to get to a Pedro Almodovar movie on the podcast?
Almodovar.
I really want to get to an Almodovar movie on the show, so I kind of made up the question of what is your favorite Almodovar movie? Kind of going off this. We'll get to
one.
We'll get to one eventually in 2023. But what is your favorite Pedro movie?
That's hard.
It was very hard. And I have not seen...
We haven't seen all of
a lot of the older... And, I mean, I still haven't seen movies like Broken Embraces. Mm-hmm. I haven't seen The Skin I Live In, which I know is very controversial with the subject matter, because I think that there's a trans character in it. And I haven't seen
trans characters in his movies.
Well, I mean, there's trans characters in a lot of his movies, but that one in particular, I think people usually take issue with.
Right.
I haven't seen Women on the Verge of a Nervous Breakdown. Mm-hmm. I need to see that.
I think that's the thing. I think we haven't really done one yet
because,
the last one that we saw,
the one with Penelope
Cruz,
Parallel
Mothers. We both walked out of Parallel Mothers and were like, holy shit, that was a great movie. Like,
yeah, she's incredible.
Amazing. And it's that thing that Almodovar does, and I don't know if it's because he's European or Spanish in particular or gay or what, but you walk out of a Almodovar movie and it's like you've never seen anything like it and you never will again.
Yeah.
It's all of his scripts are completely original and unique and different, and they keep you guessing, and every one that you watch, we're like, that's my favorite Almodovar movie.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
Every time you see one,
we watched
it's your favorite Almodovar.
The Antonio movie where he's the movie director.
Yes.
I remember thinking that was really good. I think that, gun to my head, of what I have seen, it is a tie between All About My Mother and Volver.
Right. Yeah.
Both we could totally do on the show,
and
too.
I feel like each one of those, you're like, well, that's the classic Almodovar. That's the quintessential. But there's like both. There's either one you could say that about. And I think it might be a situation where maybe we do need to watch more so that we can be a little bit more well-rounded.
That'll be our podcast New Year's resolutions. Yeah. We'll go through his filmography for when we do get to an Almodovar episode. We can be fully prepared.
Yeah, absolutely.
For that movie. All right. From Night Film Club on Instagram, do either of you have movies that you hated but grew to love? So what's a movie that when you first watched it, you did not like, and then kind of in repeat viewings, you grew to love it?
Oh, okay.
I have one. Okay. I actually have two.
All right. Hit me.
The first time I saw Avatar with my friends Sean and Jessamine, I remember really hating it.
You're like, this fucking movie.
I was like, this fucking movie. And then when Jim Cameron started to win all the awards for it, I just remember thinking, like, it's not that good. But I have to say, when I've done revisits of Avatar, because the Way of Water just came out, so we just saw it in IMAX last September. Yeah. But even like up until a few years ago, I think it's a really good movie of when I revisit it.
Yeah.
That I think I have grown to appreciate it through the years.
It's one of those things that it's so easy for people to sit there and be like, it's Ferngully, it's Dances with Wolves.
Which I would also counter that I think that all three of those movies are... That movie is very different from both of those.
It is, but I'm saying it's easy to sit there and say that.
I see it on the surface
level,
and
it's easy to be like, oh, these blue people, who cares? These blue people, whatever. But like, when you get down to it, and again, I'm going back to the feat of making and producing this movie.
Yes.
And what the hell went into creating Avatar.
this entire world of Pandora.
And like, not only that too, but when you do watch it in 3D, it's like there's a reason that like 3D movies had a big boom in the late 2000s, and they kind of came back, and 3D TVs and everything was being... fucking because of Avatar.
Yeah, it's all because of Avatar.
And it's like you watch some of them and you're like, oh, the 3D is so bad and it makes my head hurt and I don't have anything interesting to say. Yeah, fine. But when you watch Avatar, it's completely different. It's the 3D. And that's another thing, too, that people say, well, I didn't even notice that it was in 3D. It's because
it's that seamless.
It looks. Yeah.
That's how he shoots it.
It's on purpose.
That's
it's
how
all
he filmed
there.
it. Yep.
You know, it's like the 3D is done in such a way that it's mimicking how we view things, and just just everything that goes into creating these movies. It's like nobody else can do that, and you know, the movies get filtered down, and you can watch it on demand on Netflix, and you can watch it on your iPad, and you can watch it on your phone, and pretty soon you can watch it on your Apple Watch. And it's like, you're not supposed to watch Avatar on a phone. You're not supposed to watch Everything Everywhere All at Once on the back of an airplane seat. Mm-hmm. You know, you're not supposed to watch these movies in this kind of disposable way. And, you know, I know going to the theater is not for everybody, but it's how a lot of these movies are supposed to be seen. And I think Avatar, it's like, yeah, you can say it's like, all right, it's too long.
So I think that Avatar for me is just one that I really learned to appreciate with repeat viewings. What about you?
I think, gosh, what movies do I hate?
Another movie that I have kind of grown to love, and I know this movie is not liked, and I will get like fruit thrown at me for this one. Like I'll get pegged with tomatoes or something. But Joel Schumacher's Phantom of the Opera. I think that whenever I revisit it, I think it's kind of fun.
Yeah, no.
And I remember when I first saw that movie at the Ellen Theater in Bozeman, I remember not liking it and just thinking that it was terrible.
Sure. Mm-hmm. God, that's a tough one because there's a lot of movies that I used to like.
Sure.
And now I don't
it's
like
usually
anymore.
the other way around.
Yeah. I think the first Friday the 13th, I was always like, the first Friday the 13th is bad. It's not great. None of them are really that good. They're kind of subpar as far as slashers go, blah, blah, blah. When we sat down and in a movie theater and watched Friday the 13th,
we made it.
No phone,
when we were in Florida, we noticed that their Regal was just showing $5 horror movies at their City Walk, and we went to Friday the 13th.
It was late September.
It was a lot of fun. I had a good time watching that on the big screen.
And it really changed my mind. I was like, man, this movie's fucking solid.
Scares that would not have affected me sitting on my couch that kind of got me in the theater, too.
Absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That's a good one.
Yeah, so that one kind of turned it around for me. Yeah, I think mostly it's movies that I used to like, and then I'm just like, oof, this is not great anymore.
Sure. All right. Our friend Jackson Cooper asked us what our favorite casual nudity in a movie is.
I mean, I gotta go with Best Little Whorehouse in Texas. There's the Aggies in the shower.
Yeah. Do you see Dick in that scene?
Very briefly, but you see a lot of ass.
It's kind of like Can't Stop the Music.
You see boys in jock straps.
Oh, okay. I think that you mainly just see guys in jocks.
Yeah.
That's a good one.
Yeah.
I have to go with JCVD in Bloodsport, where you see he's putting on his little black briefs and you see that butt. That's a really good male nudity in a movie. I remember when I was young, I would watch Inner Space on Laserdisc.
Dennis Quaid's ass.
And there is a really great Dennis Quaid butt shot in that movie when Meg Ryan is driving off in a car and
the towel gets stuck in the door.
The towel, or it's like a bed sheet. He comes out wrapped in a bed sheet, and she's leaving, and the bed sheet gets caught in the door, and he's naked on the streets of San Francisco. I remember pausing that on Laserdisc.
Dennis Quaid's like tight, tiny little butt. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, good choices. Yeah, I think I was gonna throw out Dennis Quaid in Inner Space.
Mikey J 1980 on Instagram. How do you think our Nick should introduce the next season of films at AMC? Do you think that they should even change it? Dare they even change it too?
That's
just because it's just such lightning in a bottle of just celebrity endorsement, do you dare change it? I don't think that Liz Taylor ever filmed another White Diamonds commercial. I think it was always just the same one. And this is like Nick's White Diamonds.
These have always brought me luck.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I feel like...
Because I know that they renewed some contracts, so they're going to keep it.
Yeah.
But I don't know if they're going to change it, though.
I kind of don't think they should change it.
I think it has to stay the same.
It's got to have the footage of, like, Creed 2 and, like...
She's also watching, like, Jurassic World.
And La La Land.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Which I love, just Nicole Kidman going into an empty AMC theater
to
and watching...
Jurassic World.
Jurassic World. I love that. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It's Camp Gold. It's so good.
That's the thing. And it's like at this point to change the script, like, I'm not a good enough, like, television writer to, like, come up with, the next version. I know they could do it. Someone could create a sequel to this commercial, to this intro.
Not saying that it can't be done.
Yeah, it could be done. It could be topped, but I also wouldn't be mad if it stayed this.
I mean, when you see that with a full crowd at like the Burbank 16 on the weekend, you will get a round of applause in every single time.
It got cheers in the Way of Water when we saw it on Christmas Day.
Yep.
Still going strong 2 years later. Love it. And Nick, are you going to change it?
No.
Good. Mm-hmm. I'm glad. Next question.
From George William NYC, what 3 actresses would you like to see in a movie together? I gave you these questions earlier. I hope that you thought of one.
Drew Barrymore, Cameron Diaz, and Lucy Liu.
No. They've never have been in a movie together.
I'd like to see them in a movie together.
So I got a full pitch for you.
Okay.
I want to see, like, these 3 actresses, like, foil a bank heist or something in a movie from the 1980s. So we're going to be plucking them from the 1980s.
Got it.
I mean, I guess we could do it now, but I think it would be fun to get all of these broads in their prime in the 80s.
Yeah.
I want to see a movie with Whoopi, Shirley MacLaine, and Bette Midler.
That's a good movie.
And I want to see, like, some sort of a caper with all of them.
Yeah. That's a solid choice right there. God, yeah. I just feel like Whoopi and Bette and Shirley are all such strong-willed, let's say.
Do you think that there would be like feuding on the set just because they're just such strong personalities?
I think there might be.
I mean, I
think it would make a great movie.
I think that Whoopi would be the most chill of these 3.
Yeah.
I mean, here's the thing with Bette Midler is that sure she didn't get along with Shelley Long in Outrageous Fortune, but that chemistry is kind of gold.
That's what I'm saying.
So it works.
That's what I'm saying. Shirley and Deborah Winger may have butted heads a little bit, but it's like, again, that chemistry is like perfect. Man,
so there's my 3.
Yeah.
Did you think about this question?
That's really great. I did, and I was going with I just wanted to see like Bette Midler and Cher.
They would be really good together.
They would be really good together. Mm-hmm. And like, I don't know who the third one would be because I feel like there would have to be like a musical element in there.
Maybe they like own a nightclub together.
Oh my God. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. But the thing is, if it's Bette Midler and Cher, it's like the third one would have to be like a serious actress.
Sure.
That's how it would be. It would have been cast. Mm-hmm. I'm thinking like throwing in Barbara Hershey or throwing
sure
Susan Sarandon, those types of against the big personalities. But it's like to throw in like who would be the third one against Cher and Bette Midler. It'd have to be Elton John. Ruth Buzzy. Yeah, I feel like I wasn't able to fully wrap my head around who's the third.
So you didn't get the third.
Yeah,
okay. Mm-hmm.
But I do want to see Cher and Bette Midler in something. Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I would also like to see another movie with Drew Barrymore, Lucy Liu, and Cameron Diaz.
All right, kind of a similar question from our friend Chris Gallo from Golden Girls Poster. Plan your own Best Actress Hollywood Reporter roundtable with actresses from movies that we've covered. I have a good one on this. I'd like to see a roundtable of Cate Blanchett, Kathy Bates, Gina Davis, and Kate Winslet all communing the ghost of Bette Davis on a Ouija board. Like, I want to see them like contacting the ghost of Bette on
Betty
Davis on a Ouija board.
And they
can sort of candidly discuss past roles that they've had.
Betty, what's the afterlife? What a dump.
Mm-hmm. Did you think about this question?
Yeah, I did. And I mean, again, I'm going back to Bette Midler and Whoopi for sure. They're there. Gosh, that's the thing. Our catalog is so vast that it's like you can really pull from anywhere on there. But I do like the idea of they're pulling out the Ouija board and they're talking to old Betty Davis.
I also just love seeing both Kates doing press, Cate Blanchett and Kate Winslet. Like, they're both super charming and stuff like this.
That's true. I feel like the more you see of Kate Winslet just as a person, she's kind of growing into this how people used to think about Emma Thompson when they would see her doing press or at award shows, and they're just she's so folksy. She's just like us, you know. She likes to drink at shows and take her shoes off when they're too tight.
I like that when we were watching.
Kate Winslet just seems like she doesn't seem affected at all.
Yeah, she seems great. Like that. Yeah, that fame really hasn't.
Even
changed her all that much, but she's Kate Winslet. I like that when we were watching that 2020 special on Avatar, and when you saw clips of Kate talk about doing Avatar with James Cameron again, and that on set, Kate was kind of the interpreter with a lot of, I think, especially the kids, of that. All right, we need to get this shit done, and this is what Jim wants.
Yeah,
and I'm gonna direct all of you kids in a way that's not shouting at you.
Yeah.
Like in a very mom sort of way.
Yeah, very big mom energy, which is great.
But yeah, I love that.
Yeah. Somebody's got to step in there and take charge. Yeah, awesome. I would also like to see them channel the spirit of Norma Desmond.
Yeah.
Well, not Norma Desmond.
I was going to do Gloria Stewart that they were channeling. They can channel both.
They can get all three of them
in the same one.
Gloria Stewart, Gloria Swanson, and Betty Davis.
Yeah.
It's a big Ouija board.
From Tori Chris 80 on Instagram, do you think Felicity Huffman should have won the Oscar for Transamerica and Reese Witherspoon for Wild?
Who won the year of Transamerica?
Reese Witherspoon.
Oh.
I think when looking back on that...
Oh, I thought it was two different things.
I think when looking back on that Best Actress year, I think Felicity Huffman is really good in Transamerica. It's a very worthy nomination, but I think that Reese's win ages better.
Yes.
I think that it's probably best to not have that discussion about if Felicity Huffman had won Best Actress.
Right.
All these years later.
Because it would definitely be a big
talking point that was not really there in 2005 and 2006 when they were making the movie.
But it was in passing.
It was in passing.
That's interesting. But they would never get a trans woman to play this character in a big budget movie. It was that was the thing.
I think the conversation has evolved so much that movie would look very different now.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
Reese Witherspoon for Wild. I think Reese Witherspoon is really good in Wild. Almost, dare I say, underrated in Wild. That I think that she's better than people remember her being. And also, it's Reese's only follow-up for her win, too.
Sure.
But also, that is the year that Julianne Moore won for Still Alice. And I feel like that was just the moment that Julianne had to win.
Sure.
For Still Alice. So I'm kind of fine with Julianne Moore having that win.
Yeah.
But I think the gist of this question is that if Felicity would have won for Transamerica, would Reese have her Oscar for Wild? I don't know, maybe. I also think maybe if Reese doesn't get the Oscar, her career looks very differently. That they try to put her in more vehicles to get back in.
She already has one.
But I'm saying that, like, if she didn't win in 2005, it probably changes.
She would have,
It probably changes her whole career path after that.
Got it. Because the Transamerica year is the Walk the Line year. Mm-hmm. Right. So should it have bumped that and then bumping Reese to now win hers a year later, 2 years later?
Still Alice was 2014, so almost 10.
Wow. Mm-hmm. Wow.
Yep.
Interesting. Good question.
I love those kind of weird, weird sort of alternate reality Oscar questions. I love those. Microfilm music on Instagram, Best Actress of 2022. Pete, what's one of your favorite performances by
Michelle Yeoh and Everything Everywhere
All at Once? She's so good in that movie. Yeah. It will be a photo finish of who wins that Oscar, because I think Kate could very well win a third.
She has 2.
She already has 2, but does she need a third?
No, she doesn't need a third. Mm-hmm. Michelle Yeoh needs an Oscar.
Yeah, it would be super fierce to see Michelle Yeoh win. Also, kind of, I also want to give a shout out to one of my favorite performances of the year, Leslie Manville in Mrs. Harris Goes to Paris. I think that she is so charming in that movie.
Yeah.
It's great. It's on Peacock right now.
Yeah, it is a really good movie, and she's very well utilized in that movie. Who are our front runners right now for Best Actress?
Kate and Michelle.
I mean, for the 5 nominees.
Okay, so I think the top 5 are going to be Michelle Yeoh, Kate Blanchett, Michelle Williams, movie for The Fabelmans, a movie that I am not wild about that performance in the movie.
Right, same.
Because I think it is a little, there is kind of two massive highs and massive lows in that performance, and I think that she was directed to be like that by Steven Spielberg. I think that Danielle Deadwilder is going to get in for Till. I think that she'll get the actor's vote. And the 5th slot, I think, is going to go to Viola Davis for The Woman King.
Ah, interesting. Okay.
So there's my 5. I think that's going to be the 5 favorites going into nomination morning.
Okay. All right. I still think of those. I want to see Michelle Yeoh. We have not seen The Woman King. We have not seen Till.
Yeah, I need to see both.
Yeah, we need to see both of those. Saw Everything Everywhere a year ago.
I mean, we saw that in March.
Yeah.
So what's kind of cool about just the release schedule of that movie is that I think that A24 really knew what they were doing when they were rolling that movie out.
We saw early. People forget about it.
We saw early IMAX.
Doesn't have the buzz, but the fact that there is still this buzz 8-9 months later.
I do kind of. My friend Josh and I were talking about how that movie is going to go down with older voters.
Sure.
So.
Yeah, but I mean, if it's something that, you know, the momentum that it has can get Michelle Yeoh, Jamie Lee Curtis, and Ke-Huy Quan,
I think,
Academy Awards.
I think that both Ke-Huy Quan and Jamie Lee Curtis have very good odds of winning supporting.
Yeah.
I think especially for her, because Jamie Lee Curtis, I mean, that's why we love her, but she is thirsty. That she will work for that nomination.
She will shake hands. She will kiss babies.
Go to every single Academy event. She will shake all of the right hands. She will kiss all of the babies to get that nomination. Yeah. And you know what? Good for Jamie. Like, she's been in this industry
she fucking deserves
forever,
it.
And she deserves it. Like, Jamie Lee Curtis is great.
Yeah. She'll cut every grocery store ribbon.
She'll be opening the newest Ralph's anywhere in LA
in Chatsworth somewhere.
I'm pretty sure that she is still promoting Knives Out on her Instagram. All right. So next question from our friend Rudy Blue from Queer Punk Disco on Instagram. Favorite teen actress role?
Teen actress role?
I picked kind of a interesting one for this. I don't know if Drew was a teenager when she made it, although I think that she was. I think that she was around 18 when she made Poison Ivy.
Oh, sure.
I think Poison Ivy.
She was definitely just 18.
Our Lolita, our Long Island Lolita herself.
Yeah.
Drew Barrymore for Poison Ivy. I love that movie. I think that's my favorite teen role.
Right. No.
Seducing Tom Skerritt, fucking him on the car in the rain. You know. It made quite the impression on a young Scott.
It really did. On all of us. Gosh, I love Poison Ivy. I mean, am I just gonna go with Alicia Silverstone, Cher, Horowitz? She was a teen girl.
Mm-hmm.
Love it. I mean, it's Cher Horowitz.
Yeah,
come on.
I mean, it's 90s Alicia Silverstone. So good.
Yeah. But I think I might have to go with. I might really have to when I'm getting down to it. I think I'm gonna have to go with Veronica Sawyer.
Oh, Winona
Ryder
so
and Heathers.
Yeah. Great in Heathers. Let's see. Who has the sexier voice?
Ooh.
From C. Sanders 96. Who has the sexier voice? Lauren Bacall, Kathleen Turner, or Emma Stone?
Kathleen.
Yeah, I'm going to have to go with Kathleen, too. Nobody did the 1980s like Kathleen.
Kathleen. I mean, Emma Stone does have she's got a good gravelly voice. And I think as she ages, it's going to get, a good timbre. Mm-hmm. And I mean, Lauren Bacall, we love High Point coffee. Mm-hmm. We still drink High Point coffee every morning to get that rush of caffeine.
Lauren's had that husky voice since she was like, I mean, I feel like
the 40s.
She's been making those movies since she was like 18 years old.
Right.
That she was a very early discovery in those movies.
But I think the iconic Lauren Bacall voice is the late 70s. Mm-hmm. The late 70s, early 80s Lauren Bacall pushing High Point coffee. Mm-hmm. And it is a great voice. It's, it's like, is it all from emphysema and, uppers, downers, and candy corns? Maybe. The old studio system. But it's great. It's husky. She also has the Mid-Atlantic accent on top of the voice, which makes it even more iconic. So I would say go out and find yourself a good High Point Coffee Lauren Bacall commercial compilation on YouTube. Mm-hmm. But Jessica Rabbit, I mean, Jessica Rabbit's a good voice.
Kathleen Turner, Romancing the Stone.
Yeah.
She's iconic. I mean,
Pussy Willows.
I mean, that filmography from the 80s is pretty intimidating, too.
Oh, yeah, it really is. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So it's. I think maybe it's a toss-up. Mm-hmm. Maybe it's a toss-up. Because, I think Laura Bacall, I was kind of forgetting the coffee commercials, but, they're great. They're both great.
All right, one last question to sort of to round out this portion of our episode. Disneyland Andrew from Instagram.
Disneylandrew.
Disneylandrew.
Yeah.
You have to. It works better when you read it.
It's a portmanteau, and you read it, but you say Disneylandrew.
Disneylandrew from Instagram. Mm-hmm. Who is an actress you all think is underrated, and who is overrated? So underrated actors. I was thinking about this question today.
Yeah.
Of actresses that have always done solid work, and you would say that they're a little underrated, and I could really narrow it down to two. Mm-hmm. I'm going to go with Hope Davis.
Ooh.
I used to love Hope Davis when I was in high school. Mm-hmm. She's a really interesting actress. And, I mean, you kind of see her in everything. I mean, she's done MCU movies. She plays Robert Downey Jr.'s mom in one of the Avengers movies. Yeah. I remember sitting in the theater and just being kind of gagged at that part. It's like,
you're that is Hope Davis.
That is Hope Davis.
That is Schenectady, New York.
That is Hope Davis.
Schenectady, New York's Hope Davis.
No, you're thinking of Samantha Morton.
Oh, am I thinking of?
You're thinking of Samantha Morton. I mean, I think that they're
Hope Davis isn't in Schenectady, New York.
You might be thinking of American Splendor.
Okay,
she's in American Splendor, Hearts in Atlantis,
and I mean her
Proof.
Her biggest role, her meatiest, juiciest role, Home Alone.
Yeah, she works for the airlines, and she has a beautiful French accent I'm assuming that she teaches that in acting school. And I was thinking of another underrated actress, and I'm going to say Minnie Driver.
Love Minnie Driver.
I think Minnie Driver is super charming.
Yes.
I would like to see her work more. She's done a little bit of TV. I remember her show The Riches with Eddie Izzard when she was on that. I didn't watch that show Speechless that was on ABC, but I know that was just sort of a solution to Roseanne. Minnie Driver. I think she's great.
Right. Well, I will have you know that Hope Davis is actually in Schenectady, New York. She's down the list, but she's in there.
Yeah, that movie has a pretty big cast.
It has a very big cast.
Who's underrated actresses?
I feel like and I don't know if it's a thing. I keep going back to, I really loved It Follows, and I feel like, what the hell happened to Micah Monroe?
Sure. She got the Independence Day sequel, and then she just kind of disappeared. She's on some chiller. She's on some streaming, The Watcher or something. She's on some streaming movie that I saw posted a little bit, but yeah.
But I always go back to It Follows because I love that, and I thought she was so good,
really good in The Guest too,
and great in The Guest. Yeah. Overrated.
I'm going to have to go with one of the Nepo babies. I know that everyone's been talking about Nepo babies. And if I had to get rid of one, Lily Collins. And Pete and I are kind of people, too, that don't give these Nepo babies too hard of a time. Because I think for the most part, if you make it in the room with the casting agent, that's when it's like, are you talented or aren't you talented?
Yeah.
It's like, I love Ethan Hawke and Uma Thurman's daughter, Maya. I think she's great. Zoe Kravitz, I think that she definitely has something. But Lily Collins is someone that I think any role that she's in, you could have just cast somebody better.
And, I think that a lot of the Emily in Paris gays are going to turn on you. Because the Emily in Paris gays...
That's a bullshit show.
They're out in full force this season.
I know that the new season just came out.
Yeah, the new season just dropped.
So yeah, I'm throwing down the gauntlet and saying Lily Collins is overrated.
All right.
And she didn't have to work for any of that career.
Yeah. Fair enough. Fair enough. Who do I feel like is overrated? I don't want to be too mean on this one. I almost wanted to say like Sophie Turner. I'm like, what has she done for me lately?
What has Sophie Turner even done after Game of Thrones ended?
X-Men.
I mean, I guess that she's just married to a Jonas brother, which I guess good for her.
Yeah. She's that weird X-Men movie. But I'm like, why am I seeing her everywhere? But that's just because overexposure, and that's different than overrated, I guess.
That's kind of what Margot Robbie is going through right now.
Right.
And we'll see how the Barbie movie lands this summer.
Yeah, because I think Margot, and by no fault of her own. And the thing is, I feel like somebody like Jennifer Lawrence, we were like, that one.
And it's like, I like Jennifer Lawrence. Do I think she just got lucky in that career? Yeah.
Winter's Bone.
That Winter's Bone landed like that. And she got that Oscar nomination for a movie that I'm kind of surprised that a lot of people saw.
Right.
I mean, I actually love Winter's Bone. Like, I think it's a really great movie. But I think that she just kind of hit the Powerball with all of that.
Right.
That I think that she just gave super charming interviews, so you just saw her everywhere.
Right.
And then she's just getting all of these big roles getting offered to her. And now I know that her Apple movie is supposed to be pretty good. I have not watched it.
Right. And, things like, what the hell did she win her? She actually won her Academy Award for.
Silver Linings Playbook.
Silver Linings Playbook. She was good in that.
Yeah. I think it's a very generous Best Actress win, too.
That's what I'm going for here. Yeah. The mop lady.
Joy.
I
like Joy.
Fine.
Overrated Oscar went, like, I don't think she should have gotten nominated for Best Actress for that.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah. So, I mean, I don't want to pile on Jennifer Lawrence, and I think Margot Robbie's going through something similar in that she is in a lot of movies.
Well, and I think that,
you can't fault people for working.
You can't fault people for working. And I get, on paper, working with David O. Russell in Amsterdam, because she was a late addition to that, too. I think that Emma Stone,
right?
I think, left that movie last minute, and Margot...
Did Emma Stone also leave Babylon?
I don't know.
I think Emma Stone was attached to Babylon and she left, and Margot Robbie.
It would make sense just because of that director. Yep. But I mean, I get both of those decisions with Margot, of that when Damien Chazelle offers you the lead in his Hollywood epic, I think you just got to take it. I get it.
You know what I would do?
What?
If Damien Chazelle offered me the lead in his Hollywood, I'd pass.
Like a Best Oscar-winning director, though?
But no thanks. I don't, my thoughts on Damien Chazelle.
I mean, I'm very much with you. I think he's pretty overrated.
Yeah.
if you're going to answer the question of overrated directors, I would say Damien Chazelle. And he's been kind of getting his ass handed to him this week. I didn't hate Babylon. I think it's fine. There's parts of it that I like. Mm-hmm. But I also think you could have trimmed a good hour off that runtime and it wouldn't have affected the movie at all.
Oh, my goodness. And I am happy to say that I let you see it without me.
In an empty theater.
Yeah. Yeah, but as far as the Margot Robbie conversation is concerned, I think she is well liked enough that it's like I don't fault her for working. I don't fault her for taking roles. It happened to Jude Law that one year where he was in every movie.
2004?
Yeah,
big 2004.
Big 2004.
Chris Rock made fun of him.
Mm-hmm. A lot of people did. Mm-hmm. But you know, I don't think she is. I think it may be verging on overexposed, but I don't think Margot Robbie is by any means overrated.
Yeah, same.
You know, yeah.
So
where the Jennifer Lawrence conversation, she was overexposed, and we think she is slightly overrated.
So are you going to answer Jennifer Lawrence and overrated?
Yes, I'm going to answer Jennifer Lawrence. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah. What do we got next?
I think that does it for our first half of the show. We're going to bring in a very special guest.
Yes.
If you just hang in with us for a few moments.
Yes, indeed. Stick with us. We have a very special past guest. He's been on several episodes.
One of my favorite guests that we've had on the show.
Yeah, absolutely.
He makes me laugh, Michael Morgan.
He makes us laugh every time. Michael Morgan. Sit tight. He's coming up next with Fuck, Marry, Kill. Welcome back to the show, Michael Morgan.
Thank you. Happy to be here. Happy New Year. Happy holidays.
It is our New Year's mailbag episode. You are our very special guest to play a game of Fuck, Marry, Kill. You are the Heather Locklear of the mailbag episode. Very special appearance.
Oh, a very special appearance.
That makes me so happy because I constantly feel like the Heather Locklear of Silver Lake. So
okay.
It adds up. As in, like, washed up former blonde.
Got it. Well, I mean, this is going to be a little bit more on the lighter side. We've got some fun stuff going on. Scott, why don't you talk about the Fuck, Marry, Kill?
I mean, so we're going to play a little round of Fuck, Marry, Kill. Okay, so first group,
and these are all submitted.
Oh yeah, these are all
by
submitted
listeners.
by listeners off one of our stories. So I don't have the username for these ones for each and every one, but you know who you are.
Yeah.
Okay, for the first one, really good one to start out with.
All right.
Randy, Stu, and Billy from Scream.
From the Scream movies. Randy, Stu, and Billy.
Okay.
Do we want to let Michael go first on this one because he's the guest, and we'll do a round robin? Or Scott, are you ready with your Randy, Stu, and?
I think I'll go first.
Okay, go for it.
I am going to fuck Billy Loomis. Skeet Ulrich kind of does it for me.
Okay.
I can't explain it. It's the hair. It's like the white T-shirts. I think Skeet is very good looking, and I think that Billy would be pretty wild in bed. Probably kill Stu, just because that character's a lot, and probably marry Randy just because I can help him run the Woodsboro video store.
Oh, see, yeah, there you go. Mm-hmm. I like that.
I'm thinking long term.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. I think Randy will grow into a managerial position if he's not already assistant manager of the video store. And then everybody's dropping like flies in this town, so somebody's got to run that store. Mm-hmm. I like it. Okay.
What about you guys?
I am a little shocked. I would not fuck Billy. He is evil. I just couldn't get over it. He's too evil. So I have to kill Billy Loomis. He's too dark. But I would also, I think if you don't marry Randy, you have problems. Like, who doesn't want to marry Randy? Like you said, you get to like run the video store. Although, wait a minute. Okay, I can kind of like, we can really like get idiotic. What about Scream 2? Does that play into it? Because then you are going to experience tragedy and you're going to be a widow.
A widower, yeah.
Oh, this is true. Yeah.
So, but I would fuck Stu. Why not? He's cute and he's like slightly less evil. I feel like I can fix him.
Yeah. Oh, he definitely is the I can fix him type. Good call on that.
Stu? Mm-hmm. Oh, he's unfixable. I think I think I'm.
You know what? You know what it also is, and this is kind of weird. I kind of have a Scooby Doo fetish. Like I think Shaggy is hot.
Sure, yeah.
And so he was Shaggy, and I think that's also influencing.
I mean, some of the online Scooby-Doo.
I'm not alone. I know there's a weird community.
There's erotic artwork online.
There's a weird internet niche for all of this.
I'm strictly talking about Shaggy and maybe Fred. Okay, we're not going beyond those two characters.
No. I mean, yeah, Velma's got her own like sapphic, fan base, but there is definitely listeners. If you're not familiar with the Shaggy and Freddy erotic adventures online, just go to deviantart.com.
I've seen one where they're like on the wrestling team in singlets and they're let's just say that they're real excited to be going against each other in the artistic interpretation.
All right, I like that. Okay, well, I think I have to kill Stu, even though he is Shaggy Norbert Shagster. I forgot Shaggy's like canon last name, but it's just loud and just the like spitting and all of that stuff. I feel like he's annoying me, so I'm out. He's out. He's gone. And I think, Scott, I have to agree with you that I've got to marry Randy, which means, even though like.
He's pretty evil, but I bet that he's a really fun bone, though.
Billy, yeah, absolutely.
Well, we know, but did he sleep with Mom? I forget. Did he sleep with Maureen?
With the mom.
I really want a Scream prequel called Maureen.
I think that he raped Maureen.
Oh.
Yeah, which, not to get super dark.
That's kind of a bummer.
Thanks, Scott. Well, but I mean, he made it with Sydney one last time right before, but that was like also like avenged. I don't know. Well, I think I'm just gonna live happily ever after with Randy until the next movie. But this FMK for these three, let's just say it only takes place in the last half of Scream 1. Scream 2 doesn't exist yet.
Okay, good.
In the moment.
So, all right. Next one. What do we got?
Round 2.
Yes.
Okay, so this is like our Mexican director auteurs.
Okay.
Alejandro Gonzalez, Inarritu, Del Toro, or Cuarón.
Or Alfonso Cuarón.
Mm-hmm. And so I'm guessing the logic here is kind of, it's all a metaphor for which filmmaker you like the best, essentially. I mean, if you look them up, they're not, some of them are not bad looking, but in general, I assume we're kind of basing this off of our love of their filmmaking, or no?
Oh, I think you could do it either way. Because for me, Alfonso Cuarón is like really hot.
Yeah, I think he's super handsome.
I agree,
and it's always his son.
Mm-hmm. What year was he born?
The son is older than me.
Okay.
So we're fine there. But no, he can't be because Alfonso's not that old.
I was gonna say he must have had him when he was really young.
12. I'm gonna look this up. But at any rate, I think Alfonso Cuarón is very good looking, and for that, I think I will. I think I'm gonna fuck Alfonso. I'm gonna marry Del Toro because that house is really insane, but really cool. I don't know if you're familiar with the interiors of Guillermo del Toro's home.
That's why it's like you're in it for the house. That's a good call.
Yeah. His house is decorated. Listeners, if you're not familiar, look up online the home of... I just forgot his name. You're gonna
Del Toro.
That out.
Guillermo del Toro. William.
But it looks like William Del Toro. It looks like a goth TGI Fridays.
Yeah.
I can see that.
It's just missing like a street sign, like a red, yellow, and green like stop sign. But I would marry him to get the house and the cool like living arrangement because I love like a spooky, ooky, kooky house. Mm-hmm. And then Inarritu, I'm just not familiar enough with his movies. I think the ones that I have seen are downers. So
he only makes downer movies.
So there you go.
Interesting.
So that's me. Who's up next?
I'll go. I'm chomping at the bit.
All right, do it.
Okay, so I do agree with you. However, I would marry Cuarón.
Okay.
Michael Curon has a nice ring to it, first of all, in my mind. But I would say, of all the directors, he's directed my favorite film, which is Y Tu Mama Tambien. And also A Little Princess, very high up there for me. If you haven't seen it, check it out. Great. So I would marry him based on that, because I would be like, I'm not only in love with your boyishly handsome good looks, but you also are a legitimate and genius filmmaker, and we need to spend the rest of our lives together. And then I would actually F Inarritu, because he kind of has that rugged, like, 2 a.m. eagle look, like, pushed me into a corner. I would not say no. And he's got those brows that are, like, kind of like, you know, that, like, prominent brow. It's like, yeah. And then I would kill Del Toro, because I'm a little over him. Sorry.
Okay, all right. Fair enough.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
Oh, Pinocchio? I don't know.
I liked Pinocchio.
We like Pinocchio.
Cool.
Okay.
I do want to add that Jonas Cuarón was born in 1983. He is 40.
Wow. Yeah.
So.
Oh, he's... Okay.
So there you go.
It's like in between us.
Yeah, he's fine. He's probably got a 401k.
I'm in the clear,
like, you know, a mortgage. You're allowed to
he's
lust
got to
after
take
him.
a baby aspirin once a week.
His sciatica, he's like doing stretches and he's left.
Absolutely. All right, Scott, what do you
This
got?
one's hard. I don't...
It's tough.
This one's tough. I mean, I'm probably also going to marry Cuarón. I think he's very handsome. Directed some of my favorite movies. I mean, Michael, I'm gonna kind of go right off of yours. I'm gonna fuck it Inarritu, and then I mean, I guess that means that I'm just gonna have to kill Del Toro.
Kill Del Toro.
So
just make sure that you like look like when you kill him, like steal some of his like notebooks, so you like
get some good movie ideas.
Yeah, he probably does, and we could pass it on and be like, you know, like he wanted these to be made, even though you like.
There you go. And if you kill him, then we can loot the house. We can loot the
Oh, that's true.
The goth TGI Fridays and like steal all the cool, like.
I assume he has the most money, right?
I think that his filmography probably makes him the most in back ends, probably.
I assume Cuarón did do a Harry Potter, but I don't know how that really works out. Like,
and the Harry Potter movies are kind of borderline director for hire at times.
Right, that's what I mean. I don't know if they really like gave him if it was lucrative or not.
All right, next one.
All right, round 3. We will say it is their characters that they play in the birdcage, but Robin Williams, Nathan Lane, and Hank Azaria.
All right, the birdcage. So the characters are.
I am going to be. I'm going to be marrying Hank Azaria. He can be my house husband. So he's like I think he's really good at like housework, good at like cleaning up around the house. Can like kind of help me out with stuff like that. I think he would be a really cute house husband, and he would walk around in his little cutoffs and no shoes.
Okay, so you're going to marry Agador Spartacus.
I'm going to marry Agador Spartacus. I'm going to fuck Robin Williams just because he has a very sexy, hairy chest.
Armand.
Take
And I'm going
that catnip medication.
And I'm going to kill Nathan Lane. Hate to say it.
Yeah.
How dare you?
I'm killing Nathan Lane, unfortunately. He's a little obnoxious in the film. I mean, they all are in a way, but and I would reverse. I would marry Robin Williams, and I would F Hank Azaria.
Sure. You get to live in that beautiful house that they live on in Sunset Beach. Isn't it Sunset Beach? Right?
That's Miami.
I'm not Miami
sure.
Beach.
I don't know that I could spend more than like 48 hours around the houseboy without like he might quickly turn into like the kill.
Got it. Yeah. Okay, that's fair enough.
That's fair. Yep.
All right. Gosh, you guys, this one I feel like I have to. I think for this one, I mean it's controversial to say kill Armand because it's Robin Williams. And I don't think I want to.
Sad and dark.
Yeah. And I don't think I'd want to. I think I'd want to marry Armand because he's like he runs this club, so it's like if the mood struck me, I could say, hey, I'm going to do drag for this 6 months. Book me a night. Or we could do like a dinner theater or turn it into karaoke or something. I'm all about running a nightclub. I'm down with that.
I kind of regret not marrying Robin Williams now.
You can't change. Mm-hmm. You have to stick with it. I think I'm going to. Yeah, I think Nathan Lane, Albert. I think Albert's got to go.
I don't think anyone's gonna, unfortunately, say F Nathan Lane within this film. Let's be a little kind, I guess. I mean, the character in this film is.
I mean, yeah, I was thinking maybe I'd marry Albert, but yeah, sometimes maybe the drama, the histrionics might get a little old. So I think he's out, and then Agador Spartacus, roll in the hay, and then see you later.
And then block. After, when they're leaving the room, blocked.
Lose my number, blocked, yeah.
No time to even write, that was great. Can we meet up again? It's going to be
already gone. I wonder what that would be like.
I think Hank Azaria would be a pretty cute house husband, though.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Mm-hmm. Hank Azaria would be, but Agador Spartacus, again.
It's a little different.
The drama and the history.
And he was in real life IRL a house husband to Helen Hunt. Am I correct?
They were an item for years.
Mm-hmm.
But it didn't work out.
No.
We were just talking about that with somebody.
I was Googling pictures of the premiere for Anastasia when we covered that movie, and they were on the red carpet together.
Yes.
Yep. That's how I...
Talk about it. You should have moments that made me gay. And that would be the top of the list. I was Googling Anastasia premiere photos. Saw Hank Azaria with Helen Hunt.
The gayest statement.
That is a Bruce Valanche joke.
Oh, my God. All right, Scott, who do we got next?
All right, we got... Round 4, Ducky, Blaine, or Steph from Pretty in Pink.
Okay. Ducky, Blaine, and Steph.
I mean, should we set the context that Steph is a male? Male. It is the James Spader character.
James Spader. Yep.
Yeah.
The bad boy.
Yeah.
The rich bad boy.
The rich bad boy.
Would anyone care to start this one off? Because
this one might be one of the harder. It's real neck and neck. It's a horse race photo finish for me. All three.
Of who you want to kill.
Well, I feel like Blaine by design is just sort of a dud character.
Yeah, I agree.
Do you? I feel like people who watch, I'm somewhat familiar. I'm like a casual fan of Pretty in Pink and 16 Candles and all that, but I think the fandom, there are people who really like the Andrew McCarthy character.
We have discussed this.
Yeah, you're right. You're right. And I think, we're kind of on...
And I'm also in the camp that Andy can't end up with Ducky, just because it would be all wrong.
Yeah, no.
It would never have worked out.
Yeah, you talking it out now, I'm solidified. I know I'm ready to go.
All right, let's hear it.
All right.
We're killing John Cryer. Sorry. And again, we can talk... Maybe this is bad that... I'm killing the gay coded character.
Oh yeah,
right,
John Cryer's in 2.5 Men, and that's unforgivable.
Ooh, yeah, you're right.
For me,
lifelong Republican, from what I've heard.
Bye, Ducky. And then I'm going to F James Spader or Steph because James Spader is the king of adult erotic dramas and thrillers. So I just know I'm going to have a good time with him, and it's going to be a little kinky, a little unexpected, maybe a little emotionally fraught and ruinous, which is right up my alley. And then I'll marry the sweetheart, Andrew McCarthy.
Okay, Mary Blaine.
I am gonna have to agree with you on all of that. Kill Ducky, marry Blaine, and fuck Steph.
Okay. All right. I can see where Steph has the potential to be a good lay. Like you said, James Spader is he has done his share of an erotic thriller. He was in Sex, Lies, and Videotape, Crash, but the car crash one, not.
Oh yes, Crash is the scene where Holly Hunter after the accident has her boobies out and is getting off outside the wreck it's one for the record book.
Yeah. But
I'll be on my deathbed and that'll be one of the images that flashes in my mind.
Oh my god.
I will say that I did think about marrying Ducky because then you get to like hang out in record stores and you get Annie Potts. Like, don't forget, like she is kind of his BFF too, right?
I feel like she didn't really like him that much, but
yeah.
But at least they were in the same friend orbit. So
you think after high school she would have like hit and quit? She would have been like, "I'm busy. I'm at like CUNY, whatever." What? They're somewhere on the East Coast. Or no, they're in like Chicago always, right? That's the John Hughes.
It's usually in Illinois.
It's usually in Illinois, but
suburb of
the
Chicago.
movie is also...
She'd have been like, I'm at Northwestern, I'm busy.
I kind of... It's a little confusing because they use locations that were around L.A. where they shot Pretty in Pink, so I have to remind myself that it's not set in L.A. Yeah.
Oh, I was thinking of... Ilona. I was thinking of the Annie Potts character when I said she didn't. When I said she didn't like him, I think Ducky's got to go. I think, and it's a toss up because I feel like while Steph could possibly, you could get in a good like I don't know, like maybe like a hate fuck in there. Dare I say it? Is Blaine just going to be like a wet blanket, wet noodle, not really?
Oh, maybe
participating. In the sack, but I wouldn't want to marry Steph, so I think I've got to go along with both of you.
Yeah, and, although you would when you do F Steph, he also dated Kyle Richards for many years in real life too. That would be like part of the glamour.
James Spader
dated Kyle Richards. I did not know
I believe so.
I love
that's
that.
kind of a hot couple.
That's a hot take.
Like in the late 80s, early 90s.
Wow.
I might have weed dementia, but you should again don't like look up the premiere of like The Upside of Anger and scan her or like one of those like Men Don't Leave premiere party. I'm sure they were at it.
Okay, gas food lodging or like
gas food lodging in the Allison Anders. Yes.
Okay. All right, Scott. Next
round 6. I will have your favorite Chris. We can go with any of them.
Ooh.
All right. Our favorite Chris
probably Chris from
our
the
favorite
MCU.
Chris is we have friend of the pod favorite Chris.
He is not included in this.
Chris Sergliano is not included. He should be.
Okay, but for continuity's sake, the listener that did provide this question submitted Chris Evans, Chris Hemsworth, and Chris Pine. Is that what they included?
We're gonna throw in the other one.
There are more, aren't there?
Well, there's
there's the Guardians
Pratt,
of the Galaxy one.
Chris Pratt. We'll throw in Chris Pratt. You can choose him as well.
Double kill. We'll leave him out. I mean, this is really a difficult one.
I think go ahead.
Narrowing it down to Chris Evans, Chris Hemsworth, and Chris Pine, I think that they're all pretty close, in my opinion.
They are. I agree. I mean, this is where I'm going to get real basic. Sorry, but not to call anybody basic. I like all three. I like Avengers movies. I watch them all. So I'm well versed in all of their powers. Even though Chris Pine is not an Avenger, but he is Captain Kirk. So
and he's Wonder Woman's girlfriend.
Yeah, he
boyfriend.
Sure is.
Yeah,
He's
playing the girlfriend role.
Playing the girlfriend character. You're right.
He's the Lois Lane of.
I forgot about that. I put MCU Chris's, and I have Chris Pine in my notes, but Chris Pine is not.
He's not in the MCU.
In the MCU movies, do you think he gets that all the time?
Probably.
Yeah.
Like I Loved You in Captain America.
Yeah, but I mean, getting down to it, I think Hemsworth probably is got a little. He's a little too roided out. So I feel like, as far as the F is concerned for Hemsworth, maybe all the like roids. I don't know. I'm not. I just feel. I think he's out of that equation for fucking. So maybe we either. I think I might have to, just by process of elimination, I think I might have to kill Hemsworth. I think I'm gonna marry Chris Pine because he seems to me the one that's just like cool, but like, hear me out, cool in like not cool in like a like fashionable or trendy way, but cool in like he's just fucking cool. Like shit doesn't faze him. Like just like, I don't know. I think he's just the most chill. Like he's just a chill person. Anybody could talk to him. You know, If shit needs to get done, I'm gonna let him take care of it.
He rode the "Don't Worry, Darling" press roller coaster like a
such an iconic moment.
Smelling like a fucking rose.
You see him around town. If you're in the like he's in this neighborhood all the time. I see him like 3 times a month.
Yeah. So I think
he looks great.
So I think that he would be a good one to marry, to hitch my wagon to, and then I think I'll take America's ass and go to.
What are you gonna do to it?
Go to Pound Town. Yeah, I think I'll do things to America's ass. I think that's mine. Fuck. Evans, marry, Pine, kill Hemsworth. That's my final answer. Scott, what do you got?
Oh my God, this is really hard. I think that all 3 of them are so close.
Yeah.
I mean, I love me some Chris Hemsworth. I could climb that guy like a tree. I think he's very sexy. He looks like he would show a girl a good time if he brought you down under. Remember that really famous photo of him like with the Australian like wombat or something that he's looking at, and you see that like shot of his ass.
His ass is sticking up in the air.
The ass is sticking up in the air.
Right. Oh.
I'm gonna have to
watch the show on Disney.
No, we haven't watched it yet. Yeah, that it looks like a Chevy truck commercial or something, like the ads.
It's sort of like the Zac Efron show, but a little more of a downer.
Ooh, all right. A
little more serious.
Okay, so Scott, you're gonna fuck him.
I'm gonna probably fuck Chris Hemsworth, or he can rail me, either or. This is where it gets really hard. Of Chris Evans and Chris Pine, which one of these boys am I going to bring home to mom, and which one am I going to kill?
Yeah,
I think I gotta marry Chris Evans and kill Chris Pine, but that was a very hard decision.
Yeah.
Oh wow.
Mm-hmm. All right.
This will be, I think, the first time where we all have different answers.
Yeah.
It's a diversity of opinion, and that shows, when we all think alike, we don't think at all. So it's good that we're all thinking a little differently. I myself would F Hemsworth, absolutely. The Australian accent.
Oh, yeah.
Also, again, I know you're a huge Super Marvel fan. I'm more casual to slight hater.
Sure.
And in that vein, though, I love Thor, and I love his portrayal of Thor, and I love the character and just the over-the-top kind of semi-comedy fish out of water and all the shenanigans that go on.
Yeah.
So he would fulfill my Marvel Cinematic Universe fantasy. I would also marry Chris Pine for many of the reasons that you said, Peter. He seems like the least... like fame doesn't affect him as much as others because he's frankly not as famous, so it doesn't have to. But he just seems kind of cool. I see him in this part of town. He seems like just like your average, slightly attractive like hipster about town. I saw him buying a movie ticket to Marcel the Shell.
Oh.
That was
cute.
A moment.
Was that the Los Feliz theater in Vermont?
Yes, again at the that's where I live. I live at the Los Feliz, which is this small little. Is it independent? It's like a.
Is it owned? I mean, it's not owned by the Lamely, is it?
I don't know.
No, it's part of the American Cinematheque now.
Oh, sure, that's right.
And it has one decent theater and then 2 are broom closets.
Yeah, 2 are really small.
Pray you don't get the you don't know you buy a ticket and you're like, please don't be in the side.
Have you ever been in the smaller theaters when there's a big crowd and people start to walk in and see that there's not a lot of seats available? We have. It's interesting.
I can bet. And then I hate to say that I'm killing Chris Evans because he's perfectly lovely and hot, but it just when finishing third here is not losing.
Yeah.
Well, it is because you die, but that just the other 2 just do it a little more for me, I guess.
Yeah.
Chris, I will say, I just recently watched Cell on HBO Max with the young Chris Evans, and he is very lovely in it. The shirt's off quite a bit. He's playing a dumb hunk who's trying to save Kim Basinger, who's been kidnapped. It's worth the watch.
Cellular. I remember Cellular.
Cellular.
Sorry, I thought that you meant this. Okay.
It's a young Chris Evans, and he looks very good. I think for me, and I don't know if we've talked about this, I'm going to talk a little trash. I think he's very hot, but I've always found his styling as Captain America in civilian clothes or like it's really bad. Like they like are dyeing his hair.
I was gonna say
he's always in these like kind of like Ross or Kohl's Dress for Less style clothes, just real generic.
They're not just dyeing his hair. I think they wig him in those movies.
Mm-hmm. He's much hotter and more charismatic being in like in an interview on the red carpet than he is playing Captain America.
Is Chris Evans one of those actors that doesn't really bring dates or anything to red carpet events?
Takes his mom.
I've also have heard of his gay brother Scott.
Yeah.
I've also have heard sort of blind item stuff about Chris Evans that he's really into like BDSM stuff, which I love.
Work.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. He has like a fun sex basement.
It wouldn't shock me.
And he's the one who had the accidental dick pic.
Yeah.
That's true. So we would be. That's part of the. I guess maybe
it's all part of the appeal.
Because you already like. It's a smart bet. Like you're gonna have a good time.
That's why I'm marrying him.
You've seen the face. You've seen. Not only have you seen the face and the body, but you've seen the good.
Yeah.
So,
yeah. Absolutely. Tough call.
There won't be buyer's remorse.
No, all three of those were really hard to pick from.
I didn't even take into consideration the Australian accent.
Yeah.
And he's the only like real blonde. Oh man.
And I will say, Chris Pine is looking a little different these days, but I still will marry him.
Yeah.
He's a little fresh from the oxygen tent.
Oh no. Oh goodness.
He's real fresh.
All right, kids, you heard it here first.
All right, next round. Kind of 3 grab bag foreign actors: Guy Pearce, Colin Farrell, and Alan Cumming.
Okay. Guy Pearce, Colin Farrell, and Alan Cumming.
This one's easy for me. I know that it's kind of straightforward, but I am marrying Guy Pearce, fucking Colin Farrell, and killing Alan Cumming.
Same.
Have you ever seen Colin Farrell's sex tape?
I was going to say.
Colin Farrell has kind of the end-all celebrity sex tape. That's kind of really hot. And it delivers.
I feel a little bad that we're killing the one actual gay person. Maybe we can unpack that with our therapist, but let's be real. It's like, bye. Like, what do we do? I'll chop off his head if it means I get to like sleep with Colin Farrell.
I know. Like,
what am I doing? Like, if it doesn't even have to be by poisoning. Like, I'll use a blunt object.
Call me an internalized homophobe.
No, I'm kidding. We love Alan Cummings, but in the company of those other two.
Yeah, absolutely.
Someone's gotta die.
Yeah. I think maybe I could consider marrying Alan Cumming and killing Guy Pearce, only because I don't really have a lot of like, I don't have hate for Guy Pearce, but I don't really have much for him either way.
You don't have a lot of love. I just recently rewatched Ravenous, which I loved. It's on Criterion. And Guy Pearce was in it, and between that, and I also recently watched Animal Kingdom, and he's in that.
Really good in Animal Kingdom.
I love him. I think he's such a great actor.
Yeah.
But I understand that point of view, too. Like, you could kind of Oprah and Gale it with Alan Cumming.
Yeah. Or, we could
kind of fun.
We could talk about,
kind of girlfriended up.
Yeah, he could give me stories about, like, the Flintstones movies and, like, all that shit.
I would be like, tell me about the anniversary party, like when you filmed it. I want like a day by day.
No, I'm like, give me some Spy Kids info.
Yeah. But no. Okay, yeah, okay, Peter, you're really making it compelling.
You're kind of talking us into it. So then are you marrying Alan Cumming?
I think I'm marrying Alan Cumming.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Good. You're going to take one for the team.
Sure. Yeah. He seems perfectly charming, and I feel like Guy Pearce is a little serious for me.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I mean, hands down, we're going to have Colin Farrell.
Yeah.
No question.
Possible Oscar winner Colin Farrell, because I think he has a pretty decent shot to win Best Actor for the Banshees movie.
All right. Mm-hmm. Okay. What else do we got?
Scarecrow, Tin Man, and Lion.
Oh, Jesus. Scarecrow, Tin Man, and Cowardly Lion.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, this one's a fun one. Is it? I think
this is kind of hard They're all annoying.
Yeah, yeah.
I'm kidding.
I think they're all annoying, and I don't think any of them have any functioning like.
When I was a kid, the Scarecrow always kind of annoyed me. I don't know why. And I know that character is designed to be Dorothy's favorite too.
I don't think any of them have anything functioning between me down there.
Yeah.
It's just gonna. I mean, I would say fuck Tin Man, but how is that gonna work?
I'm just thinking about if you married any of them, it'd be a nightmare. Like, imagine if you married the Scarecrow. Whoop, 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 I crashed the car again. You know, like you'd just be like, I lost my keys.
I was
like,
gonna say,
they would never
be losing his
reading
like glasses.
Constant daily.
The lion's always just gonna be crying.
Yeah, I agree.
Oh gosh, yeah, he'd be like, I have fibromyalgia. He would have like a lot of like mental issues and health issues, and I imagine he's like a hypochondriac.
Yeah, constantly like always something wrong. I just broke my ankle. It's like, no, you didn't break your ankle.
And then the Tin Man would be just this like unfeeling, depressive, you know, blank. So that sounds like maybe I would marry him since that's the devil, you know.
Then you'd have to constantly be going out and getting that motor oil and just.
Okay, just off the top of my head, marry Tin Man, fuck Lion, kill Scarecrow.
Fuck the Lion.
Ooh,
No, but that's just sort of just calling it.
Sure.
Yeah.
Calling it quick.
There's something about that lion's mane. It's very like luscious. You know, there's something sensual.
Be very,
about it.
very nice to brush.
Okay. All right. Okay, I like that. Yeah. I guess I feel like just for the sake of throwing something out there, I'll agree with you on that one. Oh my goodness! Yeah, that
I
one.
will too. I will too.
Okay.
All right, so we're gonna have another Andrew McCarthy coming up. We just did our Less Than Zero episode. Andrew McCarthy, Robert Downey Jr., and Jamie Gertz. Iconic trio from Less Than Zero.
Wait, did you say Jamie Gertz?
Jamie Gertz is in there.
Well, I'm marrying her. Let's already.
I'm going to marry Jamie Gertz
because
that bitch co-owns the Atlanta Hawks, and she is worth like $4 billion. I'm marrying Mama.
She's in
Mama
Twister,
Gertz.
right?
Yep.
She is in Twister.
That character and her narrative arc. It's one of those films. Even when I was young, I was always like, "This is so unfair." They like try to make her the villain, and she's actually the most normal, relatable person. And the film cuts her like no slack, and it's so vicious and cruel to her.
Absolutely, she's the audience surrogate, and they treat her like absolute garbage.
They're always like, you know, when she's like, "Oh my," she's like a therapist or something, and remember, she's like really upset about like being trapped in the storm, and the film's like, what a loser, she's such a crybaby, and you're like, this is actually like a terrifying experience.
We got cows.
And this poor woman, her husband like clearly never was in love with her and just using her as this band-aid, and I'm marrying Jamie Gertz.
I'm marrying Jamie Gertz too.
Yeah. Who are Andrew McCarthy and Robert Downey Jr.?
Andrew McCarthy and Robert Downey Jr.
Robert Downey Jr. I mean, he in this movie. We're going. Well, that's the thing. Are we going?
Are we going to go with them
in this movie? Because the characters in this movie, Robert Downey Jr. is like
a huge piece of shit.
Huge piece of shit drug addict who just dies at the end. So I don't think I want to fuck or marry that guy. So he's dead.
Mm-hmm. I probably would kill RDJ then. I think I'm going to kill him. He should die. He's too smug. He's too smug to live.
Mm-hmm. Same.
But that means you got to fuck Andrew McCarthy.
I've done worse.
It's just a one-time thing. We won't look back.
I think Andrew McCarthy's super cute.
Yeah, I mean, after 2 raspberry mojitos, I would be good.
Hot to trot. All right, I agree. Okay, I think we're all in agreement on that one.
All right, we're gonna round out
this
game with the cast of Death Becomes Her.
Okay, so we've got.
Are we going Bruce Willis, Meryl Streep, Goldie Hawn?
I mean,
not
Isabella Rossellini.
I don't know.
I
mean, I feel like I would want to marry Isabella Rossellini. I'll have it be up to up to you. I'm going to marry Isabella Rossellini.
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 Mm-hmm.
I am going to kill Meryl Streep because I think
her death scene will be iconic.
Mm-hmm. And push her down some stairs, and I am going to fuck Goldie.
Oh.
And Goldie is my favorite character of that movie. I think that Goldie is given the best shit to do in that movie, and it's also just peak Goldie, and she's beautiful. So,
and do you remember the movie Crisscross?
Yes.
Where she played like a working class exotic dancer with a young son.
No, wasn't that her and Kurt Russell? Or am
Was
I wrong?
it?
No,
Isn't that what she's playing? Do you know what I'm talking about? Where she's the drama of like a mom who like has a disreputable job and she has like a young son.
Okay.
I feel like
I'm confusing it with Deceived.
No, I know Deceived.
Who plays the husband in Deceived? Is it
isn't it the Seventh Heaven pedo guy?
Oh God.
Okay.
We don't want to go there.
Is he the one that falls down the elevator shaft at the end of that movie?
Yeah, when she like she's like, spoiler alert, she has the like jewels and tricks him. I am gonna have a similar to you. I'm definitely killing Meryl by, and then I'm hearing wedding bells for Goldie. I could see myself in a LTR. She just gives me more. I think Isabella Rossellini. I would fuck her because, again, that would be a wild night, probably the wildest night of my life, more than I could handle. But I don't know that I could marry her. I think that might be a little crazy. It might be a little too much for me. I'm a little boring. I'm growing older and milder.
I'm fine with living
like a sunny blonde.
I'm fine with living in the mansion and having parties with all of these famous, maybe dead celebrities.
Okay. And all of her muscle-bound henchmen.
Yep.
Okay, all right.
Okay.
Fair enough. I think that I am going to... Yeah, I think Liesl is the most... is the wealthiest. So I'm going to marry Isabella Rossellini. So I can revel in all of that wealth. Maybe take the potion. We'll see. I think I'm going to... Gosh, yeah, this is a tough one.
Now you could say
Bruce Willis
for any of these two.
Well, I would definitely ask Bruce Willis. Let's be real.
I mean, yeah, when it comes down to actual Bruce Willis, I think that's the case. If it's the real Bruno, and then yeah, we'll kill Goldie and Meryl. So I can stick with Bruno. Oh man, that was a tough one. How many was that? Was that all of them, Scott?
That's all of them.
Yeah. Wow. That was a journey.
Plus, we learned a lot about each other.
We did.
Into our psyche. I don't want anyone in the mental health field to listen to this.
Good way to end 2022.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I know, Scott, I don't know what to look out. I know someone who's into Cowardly Lions.
Ooh.
No.
Oh my God. Well, Michael, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you so much, Michael.
Of course, thank you for having me.
You were one of my...
I am always thrilled.
You were always...
spew a bunch of crazy things that without judgment from both of you, and it's lovely.
Your episode this year was Welcome Home, Roxy Carmichael.
Yes.
That's right. That's right. I usually do the deep cuts.
Yeah.
I do the stuff that's a little in the back of the if you're of your DVD and VHS collection, the one that's collected dust and is 3 rows behind Lord of the Rings and Brokeback Mountain, and then you have that one that your great aunt. She died and you inherited her VHS collection from the early 80s, and it's those are the titles I like.
Absolutely. Well, listeners, if you haven't already listened to Welcome Home, Roxy Carmichael, check that out in our back catalog. Michael, this was so much fun. We hope to have you on again in 2023.
Looking forward to it. Yes. Until next time.
Yes, indeed.
Bye.
And thank you so much for listening, everybody.
Welcome back to the show. 2022. We didn't quite do an episode a week because we took off the early half of the year, which we will be doing. Again, we'll be taking January and a little bit of February off just to kind of have us reset a lot. But yeah, we've had a really fun year. Pete, what was some of your favorite episodes that we've done this year? Can you think of anything that really stands out as a fun movie to talk about for the year?
Sheesh. For For 2022, I mean, I don't know.
I really enjoyed. I was listening a little bit today of our Return of the King episode. I think that is one of my all-time favorites that we've done, and that was just us.
Yes,
talking about Return of the King.
Yes, I think we had a lot of really great reaction to some guests this year. I really liked Romeo and Juliet.
Yeah, we had a lot of people reach out about how great Espy was in that episode. We love Espy.
Yes. We made a lot of new friends this year, talking to Seth.
Yeah, we had Seth on twice.
Yeah, we talked to Seth for Nowhere.
And Welcome to the Dollhouse.
Dollhouse. That was really fun. I think I love the Working Girl episode.
The Working Girl episode with Moran is really fun. I'm glad that we got to that movie this year.
Yeah, there was a lot of good stuff this year. And so, we're going to have a couple weeks off, so I would just say go back through the back catalog.
Go back through the back catalog. And also, we're going to be putting commentaries on our Patreon, so if you're not a member, sign up.
Yeah. And, just maybe we'll throw out a free
we'll throw out a free one, too.
To kind of...
there's some random free ones that are already there.
There's
like two of them.
Yeah, there's a couple of free commentaries. We'll add those things to the socials, on the days and weeks that we're on break, so you can kind of see some content and some things for you guys to consume that's already out there. But yeah, speaking of Patreon,
give me some Patreon shout outs, Pete.
I think it's time for some Patreon shout outs. We have a couple of new patrons and a couple of our tried and true patrons that we want to say hey, hello, and thank you to all of them, including Lori and Brenna.
Lori is my mom.
Oh!
My mom just signed up as a patron.
Yay! My mom's been a patron for a while too. Brenna and Jess Rabbit 45. I believe you are new as well, and also Lawrence and Danielle and Alexis, Thomas, Mark, Jackson, Millie, Ted, Benny, Jamel, Melanie, Christopher, Susan, JJ, Shelby, Michael, Muffy, Jamie, Drew, Genevieve, Dawn, Joshua, Emma, Melly, Aaron, Jessica, Nick, and Shannon, Christine, and also Rufino.
Thank you for being a friend.
Thank you guys.
Thank you so much. Thanks for joining us this year in the podcast.
Yeah, absolutely. Like we said, the Patreon has Watch With Us commentary tracks. If you sync it up with the movie, we give you instructions on how to start the movie, start the commentary, and it's like you're watching it with us.
And you post links to all of our newsletters and stuff, too.
Absolutely. If you are at the $5 level and you get access to the newsletters, you can see the links in the posts. You can go through our posts, see the link to the most recent newsletter, and then within that one, there's links to all the past newsletters are in there. So you can go back and read all the content that we put out there. They're fun. They're funny. They've got behind-the-scenes photos, pictures of us around the house, how we decorate for the holidays, playlists, recipes, no recipes, but maybe I'll put some recipes on there. All that fun stuff is on there, on the Patreon, and all of your wonderful donations go directly towards keeping this podcast on the air every week, ad-free, for your listening consumption. So head over to patreon.com/movies-that-made-us-gay for more information.
Thanks for joining us this year, and be sure to follow us on all of our socials at Movies That Made Us Gay on Instagram and Facebook, and MTMUG on Twitter.
Yes, indeed. Don't forget to give us 5 stars if you haven't already. Head over to Apple Podcasts or Spotify.
We'd love to see some new reviews going into this new year.
Absolutely. If you want to do it on Apple Podcasts, you can write us a review. And when we come back, we might just read one of those reviews on a new show for 2023. So, just like the last one, it says we're binge worthy. So I hope you trust those reviews, because we are binge worthy. We love it. We love all of your support in any of those ways. So sit tight.
We'll be back in no time.
Yeah, absolutely.
Probably around the time for Valentine's Day.
Yeah, we just need to decompress, de-stress, get ready for the new year, pay our taxes, and get some new ideas. If you have any suggestions, as always, if you want to hear us talk about a movie that we haven't talked about yet, you can shoot us a line on any of the socials. We always answer those, Instagram or our Twitter. And if you want to email us, we are moviesthatmadeusgay@gmail.com. And there's also an email button right there on our Instagram page. Just shoot us a message on email or any one of those things. If you have a movie to suggest, send us the suggestions. Mm-hmm. Will we take your suggestion? Maybe. Will we credit you for it? Maybe. But what? We love to hear them. So give us some suggestions for new episodes for 2023.
Pete.
Yes.
It was a fun mail episode. We have not done one of these.
This was a really fun mailbag episode.
Thank you
guys for
Thank you,
questions.
Michael Morgan.
Thank you, Michael Morgan, for coming on the show, taking some time to do some fun FMKs. And it was one of those things where we were like, let's do a mailbag episode. Let's ask for questions. And I was just like, any minute now, the questions are going to come rolling in. Any minute now. So thank you guys for actually sending questions, sending the FMK suggestions, and all of that. Thank you so much for doing that. It's been a great year, and 2023 is going to be even better. Mm-hmm. So sit tight; it'll come faster than you think. Anything else, Scott?
I don't think so. Have a very happy and safe New Year's.
Yes, have a happy, safe New Year's, and we'll see you soon, everybody.
I'll probably be playing you out with the New Year's song. What is that? It's
Auld Lang Syne.
Auld Lang Syne.
Yeah. Uh-huh. Okay. Imagine it in your head right now. Good night, everybody.
Good night.
Bye.
Have a good one. Bye.